Well, here we are in another week of self-publishing news for June the 12th of 2023, and there's some information rolling out from Kindlepreneur, BookBrush, as well as some information you're going to want to know about the print price changes. I know, third week in a row I'm talking about this. It's for good reason, so you're going to want to make sure you stay tuned to the self-publishing news for today. Let's just jump right into things here. Of course, I want to bring to your attention that you can still enter for a chance to win a Miblar ebook and print book cover design package. We have officially have a deadline set for June the 27th. You go over to dailylinks.com/giveaway to enter for a chance to win today. That's an ebook and print book cover design. I actually should be having a video coming out on the main channel talking about just that here relatively soon. And of course, folks, if you are going to look into any type of graphic design, be it for your covers or for your interior formatting or even marketing collateral, you can do that through Miblar. Visit my affiliate links at dailylinks.com/Miblar and use the coupon code DALE10 to get 10% off your next order. All right, let's get on into the very first news item here. This one's coming from a new platform, relatively new to me, and it's actually Vervante. I was just chatting with my folks here live about this specific option here, and they just more recently, they're a print-on-demand company. It's the very first thing you should know, and they offer so many different things. And the link is going to be, of course, inside the show notes, but they actually talked about creating an author bio and that you can be able to do that inside your dashboard for Vervante. Now, stay tuned to this channel because I will be doing a deeper dive. I've reached out to their team in hopes that I could be able to land some type of an interview with one of their representatives to talk a little bit more about them. I'm super excited about them because they have so many options available, from paperback to hardcover to spiral bound to cards. Yeah, you can make your own cards, bookmarks, flash drives. There's so much that Vervante handles, and now you can create an author bio through them. So I think that's pretty freaking cool. Let's move it on over to the next item here in the news. And this one's coming from the Kindlepreneur. Now, more recently, they talked a little bit more about how they have a new book description generator. And the book description generator, you could originally just copy and paste it in there and get it formatted just right for your Amazon book description. You could do it for an editorial review. You could do it for Rakuten Kobo's book description as well as Barnes & Noble's book description. Now they have available artificial intelligence. So in the event that you're a little bit tied up and you're not really sure how to write your book description or how to get it so it's popping, they now have the ability to make it AI approved here. Now, there's a little bit of an asterisk next to this, and for good reason. I can't say I blame them. Something that Dave actually shared from the Kindlepreneur was they're happy to support all independent authors, but if you happen to be a large publishing house or someone who's running big campaigns or even a person who's writing your own book descriptions, they said, please don't use the AI there because it costs them every time that you use this. What's the catch? There's no catch. Dave Chesson is genuinely a very giving guy. He loves to do things like this. He loves to help out the indie author community. But you can get your hands on the Kindlepreneur's Amazon book description generator. You can do a quick Google search, or I even got a link inside the description. Let's move it on further forward here to BookBrush. Now, I was just having a great chat with the COO of BookBrush this past week. Should be having her on the podcast here relatively soon. And she was sharing with me a new concept. To be honest, actually, it's called Hourly Concepts. It's cost-effective, reliable, and easy to use hourly design solutions at your fingertips. Now, if you happen to be anything like me, I'm a little indecisive. You could give me templates to choose from, but if you give me 50,000 templates, I become overwhelmed, and then I grab one and I try to tweak it, and then it just looks like straight trash, and then I'm out so many hours. I'm the type of person that I've got the discretionary budget, I'm going to hire somebody. So they actually have this available to authors now. So you could have access to BookBrush, or if you would like to get it to where they do it for you, they have Hourly Concepts available where they work by the hour to fix the things that you want. And speaking of BookBrush, if you've not checked out BookBrush, fantastic graphic design tool. Think of it like Canva on steroids for authors. Good friend of mine, longtime friend of mine and supporter here of the channel, Kathleen Sweeney, is actually going to be running her own workshop for BookBrush 101 on June 15th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. BookBrush is a platform where authors can easily create their own professional-looking ads and marketing images for social media, book covers, and so much more. And Kathleen is going to break it all down for you. I've always found her just to be a breath of fresh air. She is just such a positive personality to have around you. I can't help but smile when I think about Kathleen. Fantastic gal. Love her. But all that to say this, if you have not tried out BookBrush yet, go to bookbrush.com. I'm not getting paid to say any of this. They do give me free access to it, but they never require me to say anything about them. I just love them that much. And go check out their BookBrush 101 meeting that's going to be on June the 15th, so that way you get a little bit more details. And by the way, it's going to be a Zoom meeting, so this means you get to directly talk with Kathleen to figure out what's going to be best for you when utilizing BookBrush. Next item up here is going to be from not just one source, but two sources. Written Word Media and Hello Books announced a strategic partnership to empower authors. Now, if you're not familiar, Written Word Media is a big conglomerate of different websites that promotes different books. They've been building it for a number of years. In fact, Farrell Vernon was a previous guest here on this podcast, and we talked about how he had established Written Word Media and how it has grown massively. And they have such a big reader base and relatively inexpensive advertising. And then more recently, over the past, I think, year or two, Mark Dawson and James Blatch of the Self-Publishing Formula or Self-Publishing Show podcast actually did their own site called Hello Books, to where they're able to promote your books to their following and such. And they have different niches that you can tap into. Well, now Written Word Media and Hello Books are working together in a strategic partnership. They give a lot more details in their press release, but I think this is fantastic news to hear that there's more author collaboration going on than just beyond authors. You're looking at services that are now starting to work together. Glad to see that. This next item comes here from Jane Friedman of The Hot Sheet. If you're not familiar with The Hot Sheet, go over to hotsheetpub.com. You can subscribe to The Hot Sheet, where you can gain remarkable publishing industry knowledge you'll find nowhere else. Love, love, love me some Jane Friedman, and she sends out a weekly newsletter where you're going to find out all the latest news. Now, this next piece of news comes directly from them, and it's about the audiobook revenue increase by double digits for the 11th year in a row. I've said this so long, and I'm just keep saying this until everyone does this. Audiobook publishing is on the rise. You must get this in your catalog like yesterday. And here are the stats to kind of prove it. Because on this particular audiopub.org article, per a 2023 consumer data, more than half of the U.S. population 18 and over has now listened to an audiobook. Publishers' audiobook revenue grew 10% in 2022 to $1.8 billion. That's billion with a B. $1.8 billion, which marks the 11th straight year of double-digit growth, according to the Audiobook Publishers Association's sales survey conducted by Harris Interactive. That is really good news. We continue to see these sales just soar, continue to grow. Let me get a couple of these other little snippets here so you can hear this. The majority of audiobook listeners are young, with 57% being between the ages of 18 and 44, significantly higher than 49% of the U.S. population that falls within the same age range. Audiobook listeners today closely match the U.S. population, with 29% of audiobook listeners identifying as either African American or Hispanic, compared to the 27% of the U.S. population suggested increased diversity among listeners. So there's more stats and things like that inside this article that I just think you should go ahead, take your time and look at it and dive into a little bit deeper. But if you're finding that you're cash strapped and looking for other options, there's always things like royalty shares. There's also crowdfunding you can think about. And I hate to say this, but artificial intelligence narration is improving. It is getting better. And there's been some times where I've had some authors that are like, hey, listen to this. And I'm like, listen, that was pretty good. And they're like, it's AI narrating. And I'm like, you got me. You got me. So it's starting to improve, folks, as much as I begrudgingly hate to say it. But if that's not your thing, I totally understand. But those that are looking for options out there, just know that it is an option. There's another piece that I picked up also from the Hot Sheet Pub, which a publisher drops author after TikTok backlash and Goodreads review bombing. Now, I can go into what the author's name is, but I'm just going to just skip that. You can always read the article, but let me summarize it for you. What ended up happening was this published author, they were a trad pub author, got a 4-star review over on Goodreads from someone. And she launched a video on TikTok to where she said some not so nice things to the person who left the review. And yeah, it opened up a floodgate of absolute hate, because a lot of people didn't like the fact that she was punching down someone for leaving a 4-star review. So she got review bombed, so much so they pulled her listing off of Goodreads, I believe is what they said at one point, because there was just 1-star reviews, one after the other, after the other, after the other. Well, the author comes out and says, I'm sorry, I was just joking. It was just a joke. I was kidding. 4-star reviews, fantastic. I didn't want anybody to take it so seriously. Yeah, it probably would have been a good idea to say, hey, just joking here, but 4-star review. What are you thinking, you big jerk? Laugh about it. Don't put out a video without any type of context. And to me, I think if someone leaves me a 4-star review, I'm not going to joke about it unless I absolutely know them. So like my buddy Nick Thacker, if he leaves me a 4-star review, which I don't think he's going to be leaving me any reviews, I mean, maybe it would work for something like that, but this is the public forum, folks. Be careful with what you say. Now, it turns out that this author said, you know, getting released from their traditional publishing deal was actually a good thing that came out of this. I don't see how that's good, but who knows? Different strokes for different folks. Now, I told you about the print price changes over on Amazon. KDP had happened, and now it's having some spillover effect over to the folks over at Publish Drive, because they do utilize KDP Print for distribution for some of their books. They want to let you know that, of course, on June 20th, the printing costs for print-on-demand provider Amazon will be adjusted for the first time since its launch in 2016. This is where I tried to tell people. I said, hey, they've never raised their rates. They've never. And they finally did it. Now, Publish Drive finally just gave me the information that I've been saying, and they've proved it here. So a lot of people that were balking at this one, folks, it's inflation. It happens. You're just going to have to roll with the punches. And I would say this, just increase the price of your the retail price of your book. The reader's going to have to take that price, unfortunately, or you're going to have to eat that cost, which ain't any fun. And speaking of, June 20th is right around the corner here, folks. Less than 8 days as of this recording. The printing cost changes FAQ was updated more recently to include the before and after when it comes to pricing. I recommend that you go over, take a look at that. If you haven't updated your prices, you may want to do that as soon as possible. And then here's an interesting piece of news that I figured I would pass on to you. It actually comes from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Some of you out there might be trademarking certain terms. So for instance, about a year ago, I actually filed for a trademark of book rescue, and actually it is officially filed. Congratulations, Dale. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But there are other authors out there that like to trademark some brands and terms that they use. And just to let you know, USPTO rolled out an alert. There was a notice of data security incident. And all that to say this, that they gave the full information about it. And what ended up happening is there was a data breach. They were able to cut it off at the head as soon as they could, but they felt like there might be some issues still. So if for some reason you get any other notification from the USPTO that's beyond this particular mail out to you, they're like, ignore it, because it's probably someone who got your email address by that leak. So there is that. And as we start to wrap up this news segment, folks, don't forget to get yourself entered for a chance to win a Midlar ebook and print book cover design worth $150, folks. You can't beat that with a stick. Go over to dalelinks.com/giveaway to enter for your chance today and be featured on a future video. What did you think about the news segment? Is there anything that I possibly missed? Let me know inside Discord when you visit my link. It's not an affiliate link. I don't get paid for that. dalelinks.com/Discord. That link is, of course, inside the description as per usual. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll catch you guys and gals next week. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Special shout out to my channel members for both the podcast channel and the main channel. Without your support, some projects we do at Self-Publishing with Dale would be much harder to fund. If you want to contribute to the cause, visit dalelinks.com/memberships for details and get your on-screen shout out at the end of each broadcast. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll see you soon.